Oh man the vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Why people they get right for vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Why people they get right for vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Ambazonian they get right for vex oh. Why people they get right for vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Ambazonian the vex oh. Why people they get right for vex oh. Na so all we the vex oh. Today all man the vex oh. Everybody the vex oh. Me so dey for here my heart the vex oh. Now all we the vex oh. All man the vex oh. Ambazonian the vex oh. What people they get right for vex oh. They don't miss one small big opportunity. All man the vex oh. Ambazonian the vex oh. We don't get small opportunity now we don't lose some oh. Oh man the vex oh. Regina don't be free oh. Ambazonian the vex oh. Regina Mundi don't be free oh. Ambazonian the vex oh. Oh man the vex oh. Me so what dey for here are also the vex oh. This thing na something we concern all we oh. No be na so one man ni palava. Hello my fellow brave people of Ambazonia. All man the vex. No person not the vex pass me. All man be very bitter right now. But there is no person will be more bitter past me. People their heart they not fine. While people they vex. While people they be very angry. And Ambazonians they get the right for be very angry. The Ambazonian people they get the right for be extremely angry. Because while people be don't get more hope. Say finally, while people will get Regina Mundi and the Cameroun government, they will get punishment. While people we don't get hope. So I understand why were people that vex. I be one of the people that vex. I be more vexed past all man. I be more angry past most people them. Because of the cross we will carry them on behalf of the Ambazonian people. Them. So when I feel understand the level of vexation, when I feel understand the level of anger, and I understand the anger with the Ambazonian people they carry on for their heart right now. And I understand the frustration. It be real. Because for the first time since 1961, where people they get more hope for some form of justice for the pain and the genocide and the destruction and the killings and the displacement of thousands of Ambazonians. And the Ambazonian people the arrest of Madame Regina Mundi as an opportunity for the process of justice. So that opportunity don't be taken away from them. So the poor people, they get the right to be very angry. Our people, they get the right to be very angry with this blunder of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, with this blunder of the ADF. Our people, they get the right to be angry. And the anger be very genuine. Not genuine frustration. Not genuine anger. Because our people never ever get any form of justice for all the things in way Cameroun don't do and for our people them, and all the things in way the Cameroun colonial enablers, they don't enable Cameroun for do and for our people them. Our people never ever get any justice. So this one be being at the first time for the history of the Ambazonian people them for public justice. That's why the arrest be being as such a big thing for the Ambazonian people then. Because at the first time this way, a big colonial official of the colonial state, a big captured. So I understand the disappointment. I know so will be very disappointed. We all agree. The Ambazonian Defense Forces, they make a big blunder. They make a big mistake. And so the retributive justice, we will not be the expect them through this process. It is like say when I don't lose them. That retributive justice we will not be the expect them. And when I feel say when I don't lose them. When I feel say when I don't lose the opportunity for get that justice. So when anger be real. And I want can recognize when anger, I want to recognize when frustration, and I want to recognize the vex we all with the vex. Not be only you one. The president of Governing Council of Ambazonia, the vex. Dr. Abadi vex. The vice president of Governing Council of Ambazonia, Dr. Julio Nyi, the vex. Everybody is mad. Everybody be mad. But for life, no matter how good you be, no matter how good your plans they be, you know if you control everything. You know if you control everything. There is no war where people they don't win all the battles. No nothing for this life where people don't do them. It must go straight. Ben go be. You go up, you go down. You fail, you rise. You fail for this thing, the other one succeed. While when I feel like say they don't take that opportunity for when I forget when I justice, it make you understand what is this arrest of Mundi, how it transformed the liberation, how the arrest, how the ADF capturing of Madame Mundi or Colonial Senator Mundi, how it transformed the Ambazonian liberation struggle. It changed the struggle. It change them. It take what struggle from a struggle where the war for Ukraine. If you don't make the struggle, it die. The international system need to talk about it. It need to be too much for the media, and immediately go for number one top story for the world, for international media. Instantly, the arrest of Madam Mundi, it take a struggle where the world don't forget about him because of the war for Ukraine. It bring them back to international limelight. It bring them back to international headlines. When Cameroun be thinks they say the world no will put eye for you anymore. Bam! The ADF arrest or capturing of Madam Mundi, it put fire back into the Ambazonian resistance. It put more pressure for the Cameroon government than any other time. And so, the Governing Council of Ambazonia will look for every opportunity for take our struggle into the next level. For look for every opportunity for take our struggle to the next level. And based on the strategy where they lay am for una, a clear roadmap for liberate our people them and end Cameroon occupation. The forces where they follow that strategy, they implement that strategy. They, through intelligence, they capture a top Cameroon colonial official because now a policy of the Ambazonia Governing Council, now our war policy, now part of our war strategy for make sure say all the Cameroon colonial authorities from Ambazonia, they be taken out. Now part of the strategy, now part of the game plan. So, when Madam Mundi be arrested, instantly the liberation change. Instantly, the liberation gain momentum. Instantly, it gain international press. Instantly, the world start to talk about it. Instantly, diplomats, they don't get any choice than them for come back into the table. For no say, they say, this thing where people they be think say don't be quiet. It no go ever quiet. Instantly, the state of Cameroon start shake. Their media, all their media outlet, is start to talk about this story. So one of those things with the capturing of Madam Mundi, it do for our liberation, now for take the liberation to the next level. Now for put more pressure for Cameroon. Now for show, number two, why it take our liberation to the next level? Number two, it tell the world the enormous control and power of our defense forces. And it show the loopholes, the weakness of Cameroon's security apparatus. Number three, it showed the enormous ground control with the forces they get them. Number four, it gives an opportunity for the political leadership, for the leadership of the liberation, for make a proposal to the international system. Since 1961, when Cameroon recolonized and occupied Ambazonia, the Ambazonian people, they never ever get an opportunity for make direct political demands. For the first time, for the history of the Ambazonian people, they get the leverage through the capturing of Madam Mundi as a top valuable asset of the colonial state, for them to make a direct demand to the international system, for them to make a direct demand to the Cameroon state. So they not just take Madam Mundi and make her like a normal case. They take something where it become a top political international issue. And they define them that way. Were prisoners of war with all the small talk where people they don't try, the small program where people they don't try, it never ever gain any momentum for highlight the plight of our prisoners of war. Instantly, in a moment, the Ambazonia Governing Council the brilliant leadership of Dr. Choayaba, the strategic thinker and the most hardest working leader. It take a military issue and it turn them into an international political issue between two states. It take the case of Madam Mundi and it turn them from make them a direct political demand for a negotiated process for prisoners exchange. And it start to highlight what prisoners and we all man, we don't forget about them. It take the focus, it put them for our prisoners. It not become not just a focus, say defense forces, they capture a top Cameroon colonial official. It become an international political issue of negotiation. For sure, not two countries a day, not two states that they fight, not two sides that they fight, and therefore we get a high value target of the enemy and demand from the international system. This prisoners exchange will bring Palm 4 into the light, bring the plight of Mancho BBC, the plight of Penn Terence, the plight of Comrade C. Conrad, the plight of our prisoners and where they be chained in bed, in sick beds, the plight of our prisoners and where they be sick for prison and they not even fit for get medical treatment. We take this case for make political demands through the international system for the release of our political prisoners for exchange. Now, which other movement you don't ever create that opportunity for make this kind of political demands to the international system on behalf of the Ambazonian people? Now, which of our other leaders, they don't ever get the audacity and the conviction for take any other opportunity for make direct political demands to the international system and to the Cameroon state? Now, which other movement? Now, which of our other leaders? Because in the past, these opportunities they don't present themselves. Because leaders do not get political savviness, they not get a liberation ideology and a strategy, they not get the conviction of their demand for independence. So that's why they not get the courage and the political will for make those kind of political demands. But when you get a determined leader, a leader with conviction, a leader who believe for the Ambazonian people, their right for self-determination, their right for existence, and their right for a sovereign state, it always seek for any opportunity for advance the people, their aspirations. And I think that the Ambazonian Governing Council, it take the case of Madam Mundi and it transform our liberation struggle. While at that same time, we take this case, we turn them into a political demand for the release of our political prisoners, of our professors, of our lawyers, of our teachers, of our trade unionists, of our papa dem and our mami dem. The same Ambazonians who they tell us say they want independence for una. People like Professor Carson Anyangwe, people like Christmas Ebini, and most of people them for the IGs. The same people, they come against una. They come against this same policy. They come against una aspirations. Even when we make those political demands for prisoners of their own movements. Even when we make these political demands for prisoners of their own movements, they still attack the Ambazonian Governing Council. They say, would they catch our own? Would they arrest our own? Would they kidnap our own? Honorable men and women, people like Professor Carson Anyangwe, where they understand these international issues, they lower themselves to stupid politics. They start to disgrace themselves. They start to contradict themselves for stupid politics, even when the policy it be big enough to highlight the prisoners of the movement with them, they talk, say they claim to they represent them. Because they never ever get the man canas. They never ever get the conviction of which they stand for. When they see other people they fit for doing, the small black man syndrome, small jealousy. Instead for these people, them for use their international law expertise for advance this cause. They instead take them for turn them. How they fit bring Ambazonian down. How they fit bring AGOFC down. How they fit bring ADF down. They start for action questions. Say, arresting a colonial enabler, a genocidal, an accessory to Cameroon genocide on Ambazonia. They start for tell una say na una own. Una no fit arrest una own. Una no fit torture una own. Now, 1 month later, with all this internationalization of our struggle, with all these political demands, would it change the dynamics of the liberation and project Ambazonian strength and authority and put more pressure on Cameroon than any time else. With all these gains, we make international, the world experts, everybody start to talk about it. They start to put more pressure for Paul Biya than any time else. When all these things that happen in favor of Ambazonia, why they not kill Madam Mundi? It be very easy for kill Madam Mundi than for can't talk, she don't for talk for social media or on TV. It not take, you don't need sense for capture some person, just killing. If you kill the person, now which political capital you go extract them from you killing them? There would have been no political benefit to the Ambazonian people if as ADF we just catch Madam Mundi and it just assassinate it just like Cameroon did one. But being a smart people, we get to take this thing, that capturing of Madam Mundi, and turn them into a political capital. And turn them into a win. And turn them and bring our liberation up. And we succeed. We achieve them. For 1 full month, more pressure be being mounted on Cameroon than any time else. Cameroon not be fit for deny, say that they don't get control of the territory anymore. But while all these things that be go on, as we don't advise them, the Cameroon intelligence services, the Cameroon military services, then too they not be the sleep. Then too they not be the sleep. Because now war, you get a top value asset. You get one of their top value assets. You think they do the sleep? So, then too they be the plan. Why you make all these political demands? Then no one make you get those political gains. So Cameroon no want that. You know, say not only the Ambazonian Governing Council, they get the kind structure with a command and control force, where if their forces, they carry out that kind capture or arrest of a top official, Ambazonian Governing Council, it go take them, make them into a political gain for the liberation struggle. Because not only them, they get the only force, one of the only forces, where they under direct political leadership All the other one them na borrow forces. So they not fit so a force on the ground where you not recruit them, train them, you not fit use any of their action for make direct political gains. You not fit, right? Except Sokadef. Now the only other one that with Sokadef. So now, Cameroon start for plan. Cameroon the monitor. Cameroon the gather all the intelligence. When we be tell the people, say the Ambazonian Defense Forces control vast territories. Oh, people need to understand, say, they say, we don't already tell our people. Our forces that control vast territories. Within the territory of Ambazonia, we still under Cameroon occupation. So basically, the Cameroon colonial military apparatus and the intelligence services, obviously, where they don't control the state since 1961, they know every part of the territory. They know every part of all the places where the forces are. They know them. But for reach day, it be very difficult. So while all these things that go on, Cameroon the plan. Their army they do the 2 weeks ago, they make an attempt for invade certain blocks where they suspect say this their value asset. If it be they make an attempt. And during that time, the Ambazonia Defense Force, the forces, this DDC, Capo Daniel, he can put out a statement for one Cameroon say any attempt for rescue of Madame Mundi, it will lead to her killing. It will lead to her death. Cameroon shake a pull back. They go regroup. Obviously, when I know the War Council, it can judge, it put Madame Mundi for a military trial, and they sentence Madame Mundi. They don't sentence, he say, he go die. While they still they put the political pressure for prisoners exchange. Because the reason, now say as a sentencing, he add more pressure to the international system, he add more pressure to the Cameroon state. When I remember all these things, now strategies. He add more pressure. So the clock start for tick. The international system now be forced for put more pressure on Pobia. Say if you not act quickly, if you not act fast. At that same time, more pressure be added on the Cameroon colonial military for them to do everything humanly possible. For them to take all the experiences where the Americans, they don't train them. With the Israelis, they don't train them. The French, they don't train them. For them to use all kind of human intelligence. And for see how they fit take away that political capital where the capturing of Madame Mundi don't give the Ambazonian people. They are going now for take them away from you. Because now war. Alright? We now get to understand these things. And a state we get a professional army, they get professional military intelligence services. They function on intelligence. So no matter how strong our defenses they be, will still be under the occupied territory when then they get the intelligence apparatus on the entire state. So no matter how strong we be, they already give the forces a mandate. We now preserve the value target so that we continue to make these demands, and as the negotiation process they go on diplomatically, we now continue to make sure say we now protect the value asset. Then Dr. Eba Komot, he can put out a message. The leader can tell the Ambazonian people and assure the international community, say don't get a video call with the prisoner, with Madame Mundi. All those things are part of the strategy for reassure the international community. Say yes, we don't sentence you, but we still keep the asset for give una time for the negotiation. So that una fit get time for negotiate. As time they go on, the Cameroon they deepen their intelligence, which will deepen our work for preserve the asset. You don't give the forces an order, una preserve the asset. because of backdoor talks, because when I know say things that happen within the international system for the negotiation for prisoners exchange. So the forces, they therefore follow the orders. The forces that they take orders from the political leadership, because they command and they control structure. They are going to implement political orders for achieve liberation goals. So they therefore do whatever possible. Even if Cameroun the attack, they are going to preserve the asset and see how they escape with the asset and maintain the asset for achieve those political objectives. Unfortunately, they preserve that asset for so much before the asset become a liability and a security risk to the commanders, to the forces, to the environment, to wherever they be to keep that woman. So once the danger don't be too high, where Cameroun don't take the top of the top of the top of their best, where they carry out these kind of operations. And when they invade for 5 different places, and they come with so much things in, where it overwhelm the capacity of our power structure and our defense structures. In the middle of the night, in the course of all these things, when people they don't come with all kind of things where they see for night from afar, and you not get those kind of capabilities. When forces they try for rush and run and retreat and reposition, in the course of all of this, for save their own lives and for preserve the asset, they be lost the asset. They lost the asset for save their own lives and for preserve the asset following instructions. What you wanna think say for happen? With all the blackmail where they go on within the 4 different IGs. What you wanna think say for happen? If the Ambazonian Defense Forces, as they be do that conviction on Madam Mundi, they be finally kill Madam Mundi. Ambazonian for calling to 2. The internal enemies, the Carlton Anyangways, the International Town Hall, the IG Care, the IG Marianata, the IG Sako, and all these sub-IGs, where they don't become agitators of our liberation struggle because of their failures of their various leadership, for show anything of substance in terms of structure and strategy. They don't become the opposition to our liberation struggle. They go take this thing, destroy our liberation struggle. So sometimes wisdom be more important. Sometimes you get for be wise. You get for understand, say you swim in a water full of sharks. And you get for know how to swim with the sharks without being eaten alive. As they talk for one of those books that we don't read that many years ago. Sometimes you get to understand how that all these things they play out. What you go work to your advantage, what you go work to your disadvantage. And you get to weigh your battles very carefully. It be worth it for still try to hold onto an asset, and then it lead to the death of so many commanders and soldiers? Or for say we'll do our best, we'll give our best based on the circumstances, based on the situation, based on what we face, based on the threat, on the environment, on the forces, and even the asset. The risks don't become too much than the asset. When I know how the mommy dey, mommy no be a small mommy. That big mommy no be a small mommy. Even if soldier they be carry and put them for shoulder for try for run. But when the danger don't come too much, even at you go value your own life and damn the asset. So, now victory for Cameroun. Cameroun, the ability for retrieve that asset, for rescue the asset. Now victory. And we're going to forgive them, make they take their victory, make they celebrate them. Now victory for the people them like Christmas Ebini. Now victory for people them like Carlson Anyangwe. Now victory for them. And so make they glorify and make they celebrate their victory on behalf of Cameroun. For all the people who did not wish, the people for the Southern Cameroon International Town Hall. Now victory for una. Cameroun, the ability for rescue that woman. Now una victory, so una celebrate that victory with Cameroun. People like Isaac Zama, the CPDM people where they within our midst, where they speak on behalf of CPDM and the Cameroon state. Now una victory this, una celebrate them. We lost this battle. We lost this battle. The liberation struggle will be made up of many battles. We go win some battles, we go lose some battles. But the liberation will be won. If we lost a couple of battles and win many battles, but the liberation itself, it will be won. That one be inevitable. There is nothing where Cameroon fit do the international system fit do for stop the Ambazonian liberation. So I no one make you look at the liberation by just one defining battle. While liberation not be defined by one battle, but one battle, like the case of Mundi, it move the liberation to the next step, to the next discussion, to the next momentum. There will be many more battles. We go win some, we go lose some. For the last 1 month, now we don't win. For the last 1 month, the arrest of this woman been a big victory for the Ambazonian people then. A big victory. So when I feel proud of our defense forces, regardless of say we lost the asset, when the fire be too much. But the fact say within that same territory will be controlled by the military and their intelligence apparatus. Our ability for keep that asset for 1 whole month, now a big deal. Our ability for make political demands, now a big deal. Now a big deal. When I know why the Anyangwes be cry, when I know why they be cry, when I know why, they not be crying now because they love Cameroon. They not be the agitate and because they love Madam Mundi. The reason why they be the agitate now because they no one make una get a centralized, focused leadership. Now because they no one make Ambazonia get a focused, centralized leadership. A focused, centralized leadership, it take away some entitlement from them. A focused and a centralized leadership will focus on the strategy and for make political gains for the Ambazonian people then. It threatens their entitlement. Because according to them, since they don't been at the elites for that time, and now they don't come back for be elites for the liberation struggle, the Ambazonian people, they think say the Ambazonian this new generation, it must continuously for depend on them. Even when they not believe for the ideology of war. Even when they not believe for the ideology of self-defense. all the 4 IGs, they not believe for the ideology of war or self-defense as a liberation strategy. There is nowhere in their constitutions and their documents where they don't put a clause for invoke armed resistance as part of their strategy. So now if you understand why they don't want to get directly involved for armed strategy, for the armed resistance strategy, they only use now forces where they only pay them for loyalty. When if you understand, they don't want to get anything where go directly implicate them with arms and forces. That's why they be very aloof and they do things with forces on a distant basis so that there is no direct implication should in case. So when if you understand the games where they play, when anything we go take the Ambazonian people, take them up. Because for them, now how the Nefijo go Shidon and use this Ambazonian resistance as a social agitation so that the Fijos go get some form of reconciliation with Pobia. So anything will go lead to direct independence, now a threat to their colonial elite entitlement. Anything will go lead to direct Ambazonian independence. It threatens their elitism. It threatens their pension where they still get in Cameroun. Most of them don't work for the Cameroun state and their pension still there for the Cameroun state. Most of their brothers, their sisters, they still be top colonial officials of the Cameroun state. So Ambazonian direct independence now a threat to most of them. So they don't hate AGOFC and they don't hate the ADF. They don't like them because it stands for a direct path to independence. Where it threatens everything where all these people don't build on and it elevate them. Because every person don't be elevated in Ambazonia now by joining the CPDM. All of them. So they either get a cousin, a brother, an uncle when a part of the system. So the independence of 99% of the population now a threat to them. When if you understand the psychology and why they agitate, when we carry out actions we go lead to direct independence. All this background what they give for now for give a sense of understanding so that when I go get a greater appreciation for these boys and what they call them say fighters. These forces where they call them say Ambazonian forces. When I feel get a greater respect to the Ambazonian Defense Forces for the kind leadership where they follow them, for the command and control for follow and implement political strategies where they will lead to political outcomes. Would they pursue political strategies where they will lead to political outcomes for the Ambazonian people? Then? Every opportunity, every action would design them. Now how for create political opportunities will go lead to political outcomes for the Ambazonian people. Then? And it be a threat for people where they don't create fictitious governments and make themselves exclusive people them for entitlement to power. Because the direct path to independence, it defeat their notions, say they be government. And so when this thing for Mundi come out, where it not fall under their equation of saying that then they be government, it defeat their narrative, say they be a government. And it elevate the Ambazonian nationalism and the Ambazonian resistance. So that's why the capturing of Madam Mundi, it be been a threat to people like Professor Carlson Anyangwe, where a landed and an international law expert for support fictitious systems of government. You go ask yourself, how come a person of that caliber and standard, he go accept fraud and accept for be part of a fictitious political system and he call and say a government? So, the success of Ambazonia now a threat to their entitlement of Cameroon fraud. Because the ones still take that Cameroon fraud, that Cameroon style of fraud, for continue for advance and for Ambazonia, so that Ambazonia will be as corrupt as we two don't run away from. That's why Now they get 4 governments and they don't know what to do. So liberation now a threat to the fictitious government. The liberation now a threat to Cristiano and Marianata, because they talk say they be a government. Anything where it move the liberation forward, it defeat their notion of a government. Actions on the ground where they advance the struggle, they defeat their notion of a government. The only purpose where they create their fictitious, fraudulent, manipulative government. Now how the Nefi go negotiate with Cameroun. Now their whole essence that. So what be all this? Make I tell you what all this one mean. What all these things mean for una. Now say, now we understand how easy, how simple it be for Ambazonian for gaining independence. Now we understand how easy and how simple we Ambazonian they gain independence. It be very easy for the Ambazonian people them for get a negotiated settlement with Cameroun. Imagine if structured forces under direct political control, they be pick up not be only Mundi. What if they pick up the mayor of Bamenda 1, Bamenda 2, and Bamenda 3? What if they succeed for pick up Lily Lafrique? What you not think say go happen? When forces are under direct political control, and they carry out such actions, they change the liberation struggle. So I want to make get confidence for the forces who will get them, for the training we will give them, for the roadmap where they follow them. It go be with very easy for gain our independence. Because we no go just there for only for fight, for make the territory ungovernable. As Cameroon they become weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and lost more control for Ambazonia, the Ambazonian people then, the next step after you make the territory ungovernable, now for you for start to fill in the ungovernable spaces for places that we don't defeat Cameroon. And at the thing that with the Ambazonia Defense Forces that they do. Now the thing that General F and they do all this while. When I see so quiet, it work very hard for stabilize liberated communities, the places that we don't knock Cameroon out, where they not get their small administrative structures them there. How you feel put more forces for those places, and how you feel start for institute the Ambazonian Transition Authority for start to give those communities the local power where they need them. Now they work this way with the do them. How you feel start for build clinics and community schools and give the people them a sense of independence, a sense of freedom, a sense of Ambazonianness. Now they work this way with the do them. But when you get this kind of event, we big. When the event flop and we face this kind of blunder, obviously every person will want to talk about it. Every person will talk, say, oh, the liberation don't fail. No, the liberation never fail. As we speak, fighting they go on somewhere. Today, the rescue of Madame Mundi is not the end of Ambazonian resistance, not the beginning for a new level, because it elevates the liberation to a higher level. It intensifies the resistance to a higher level. It shows the danger where the Cameroon colonial elites, they deface them when they come to inside Ambazonia. And it shows the power of our forces for being able to pick them up. We make some mistakes along the way. Yes, we did. Now, part of life. No man don't know everything. No matter how good your strategy be. Even the biggest army for the world, even the most sophisticated army for the world, they make mistakes for their battlefield plans. Things they no go as you plan. But part of being a leader, now when things they not go as you be planned, how you feel adjust, you feel reevaluate, and you feel reassert your strategy. We make mistakes? Yes. Something go wrong during this period, say as the forces, they try for retreat, say they lost the asset? Yes. Now a failure for Ambazonia? Now a failure. Now, win for Cameroon? Yes, Cameroon win this victory. But at the end of our resistance, hell no. Hell no. It changed the dynamics of our liberation struggle? Of course, yes. It changed the discussion within the international system? Of course, yes. Any other Cameroon colonial senator would be able to come inside Ambazonian territory? Hell no. Hell no. Our forces, they will be able to pick up more colonial enablers and colonial administrators? Of course, yes. During all these things, we not lost even one single soldier. During all this intense operation, we not lost even one soldier. Leadership, when you fuck up, when you make a mistake, when things do not go as you be planning, you own up. You admit to it. That's part of life. That's part of being an accountable leader. That's part of being an open leader. For you for no say you be human. Now word is not be straight line. That's why sometimes soldiers they die for battlefield. That's why even the enemy, no matter how well trained they be, they die for battlefield. That we don't learn a lot through this process. I bet you the next colonial enabler where they go pick him, and they will live for 2 weeks. And we know will give the international system and the Cameroon colonial state that much time. We don't learn a lot through this process. Every person we own a business, you know, say you did learn more from the failures, from the mistakes that we make them, from the wrong decision that we make them, from some of the challenges that we face them. You did learn more through that process than any other book we read them. You know, if you buy experience, experience will be very invaluable. When soldiers they go for mission, they don't go as a bee. Soldiers they learn more than any training we give them. So we don't learn a lot from this incident. It don't help we become better leaders, and it help the forces for understand what to do next. But if this thing not for happen, then not forget all of those learnings. If this thing not for happen, none of we forget this hindsight. None of we forget wisdom that comes from experience. And then once you get that wisdom, you integrate the experience. You integrate the new learning. Now it give you now foresight. Hindsight, it give you foresight. Wisdom based on previous experiences. It help you for adjust for new scenarios where they be similar. Now the power of experience is this. They be invaluable for any person who will be smart. If you see from the Bill Gates to the Jeff Bezos, from Mr. Buffett, go ask the African billionaire Dangote. Go ask Mr. Mo Ibrahim, the African billionaire now and philanthropist. Go ask them. Their biggest breakthroughs, they come from some of the failures where they be experiencing, and they give them the wisdom for make the kind of innovation where it takes them for places where we want to reach. A leader we need to fail, we need to make mistake, it's not a leader. A leader we need to take risk, not be leader. Dr. Ebacho na a risk taker for the Ambazonian people. The capturing of Mundi na a risk. The keeping of Mundi na a risk to our forces. Na a risk to the lives, the safety, the security of our forces. Making those political demands na a risk. If you not take risk, you not go make any progress. If those political demands will be accepted, and 75 Ambazonian prisoners they will be released, if for come not from the risk, because the size of the risk go determine the size of the outcome. Most of these una nyamfoka leaders, una know why they tie their foot them and tie their hand them without any risk? Because they fear failure. The Anyangways, they fear to fail. That's why they no one give any advice to people them like Yerima for take risk. We go advance the struggle because they fear public shame. What if we do and we fail? That's why in the last 5 years, none of these Nyamfoka leaders, they don't ever enact or create any policy. We go move the people then forward. Because they fear. Say the failure of that policy, it could be a public shame for them. That's why they not innovate. Because they fear for take risk. Soldiers, they take risk every day. People for ground zero, na risk for live for ground zero. For you for wake up every day for ground zero and go through the day, so till you go for bed, every moment where you get breath, na risk. While picking them for wake up from morning time till night, they live for a risky environment. Without risk, there is no reward. If you no risk, get out of bed and go face the challenges of life, face the problems of life, you go remain for bed as a depressed human being, and depression will kill you. The fear to live, it costs more people than for die than the reward of life. That's why all these Nyamfoka leaders, they don't become small, simple agitators. Because of the fear risk, the fear for create policies, where they fear advance the struggle. Why? Because they fear for make errors. Because they want to maintain say they be clean. They want to maintain say they be good people. Good people where they fear for take risk. Good people where they fear for create policies. There is no good human being we need to take risk. For invest for education, na risk you take them. For go take a trade, na risk. For fall in love, na risk. For married, na risk. For start a business, na risk. But if you want the joy of marriage, you must take the risk for get married. If you want the joy of a relationship, you must take the risk for get into a relationship and go through the challenges and with relationship get them, because now through those challenges the reward they inside. For carry belly na risk. But if you want to experience the joy of being a father and being a mother, you must take the risk. Without risk, there's no reward. And the difference the thing is separate the governing council of Ambazonia and any other Nyamfoka organization out there in the name of Ambazonian resistance. I want to salute our brave heroes. I want to salute and court cafe for the Supreme Commander of Ambazonian Defense Forces, General Efa. We know what you don't go through as a general for these last 30 days. We know through what the forces they don't go through these last 30 days. We know through all the ADF forces within Mezam and Momo, they don't go through within these last 30 days. We know the pressure for the constant attack from the Cameroun military, from every angle. We know what you don't go through for these last 30 days on behalf of Ambazonia. On behalf for preserve our nationality and project our people then. And for that, I want to tell una how proud we be of una. I want to tell una how much we honor una and how much we respect una. Una don't give una best and prove to the Ambazonian people. So they fit count on una and they fit trust on una. Wetin una need a more? Una need more tactical training. Wetin una need a more? Una need more effective training for the new job, for the new kind war, for the new kind fight. For say this kind thing will happen, it no go ever repeat itself again. We go get the same training and even better training for counter this kind soldiers the way they come for night, where they get night vision goggles. Una too una get them. Because now the only thing that way it give them the advantage over una. The ability for camp for penetrate environment, enter around 2, 3, 4 o'clock for night. Because then they wear those things and where they fit see from afar. But you not fit see. So you give them an advantage over you. And I want to make our people they understand the environment where our forces they fight. They never go through these experiences. All them they gain na feel experiences. So una get for respect them, una honor them, una trust them. They don't give una their best, but through the process they will learn from their mistakes and then how to do better. The waiting we owe them, waiting leadership owe them, leadership owe them. Now the new training where they need them for make sure say this thing can't no go ever happen again. All right. So shake no day. The people they get bad belly, the people they hate the direct independence and freedom of Ambazonia, people like the Carlson Anyangwe, people like the international town halls, the people them where they don't be frustrated, say the IG, you need to make any progress, and the IG, the 4 different IGs, now dead organizations without a strategy, without a roadmap, and they don't know why the organization that they exist. All those people they don't be frustrated. They take their frustration of the failures of the IG for pour them as hate for AGOVC. Because when they criticize AGOVC, when they go after the AGOVC, they use them as a shield for their own failed leadership of their own failed organization. One of the reasons where Chris Ano they make all this loud noise now for cover the emptiness of those their IGs. One of the reasons where people like Professor Carlson Anyangwe and the International Town Hall, when I go only to hear the name AGOVC and Dr. Ayaba, now because all those noise, they use them as a cover-up for the failures of their own organizations so they support them. Because those organizations don't get a roadmap, they don't get a strategy, they don't get a sense of direction, and they never know place where they go. That's why when I see them go left, they go right. And so now they don't become now internal agitators. They don't become now an opposition to Ambazonian liberation. So make una not think say they hate Ambazonia. Make una not think say they hate Dr. Aiba. Make una not think say they hate the AGOVC. They don't hate them. There is no Ambazonian who hate the ADF. All the comments, all these hateful messages and angry messages, they come from these failed, these people. The way they be frustrated by the failures of the movements of the IGs where they support them. Those movements don't fail those people, but those people not fit deal with the shame of the failures of those institutions. So for them for cover up these failures, they get for take all their anger, they find anything wrong for AGOVC and use them as a cover-up for protect themselves from the failures of all these movements so that they still support them. Alright? So now they game this. Alright? Now they game this. If they get anything for offer the Ambazonian people, they for the focus on the strategy, they for the tell now how many forces they recruit them, how many forces they train them, they for the tell now the new education where they would give these people them. But the reason why they call AGOVC, Dr. Ayaba, ADF every day, now for cover up the shame of the failures of the movements, the organizations, and the leaders, where then they support them. All right. So I want to end for here. Tomorrow, I go. You can't tell when something will be very important. So I hope say you don't enjoy today's education. I hope say it will help you for make your heart cool down a little bit. I know say a lot of them don't get a lot of anxieties. People not feel sleep. People not be fit for sleep. You know, tension be very high. I get more than 300 calls within the last 24 hours. My phone did ring. This person did message me. What did it happen? So, we're going now for calm down people, for reassure people, and for give our people them a new sense, for re-energize our people them. A new time, this word resistance. Be very happy as an Ambazonian for which you don't accomplish them as a people. Any place where you did, be very happy. Your resistance not be the same again the way we be there last month. Now a different conversation. So calm down. Nothing will change. We'll still be very focused. Our forces, they still be very engaged. We never lost nothing. We not lost weapons. We not lost granates. We not lost nothing. We not lost even one soldier. All right? Everything still be intact. Instead, we don't gain more from this incident of Madam Mundi. Tomorrow, I get something will be very important. Tomorrow, I get a message for Regina Mundi. Tomorrow, when I join me for here and for ACN, I get a special message to Regina Mundi. I get a special message for Madame Regina Mundi. I get a special message to Grandma Regina Mundi. I will talk for una tomorrow. Alright? For now, shake no day. Una leadership day for una back. It stands strong. Our forces the day strong. Una continue for be hopeful. Una continue for stay committed. Una continue for stay focused. Things they don't change. Everything will don't happen. It don't happen to una greatest advantage. There is no disadvantage. All right? An intelligent man, he always take any problem, any challenge, it turn them into an advantage and an opportunity for move forward. A stupid man, a foolish man, an idiot. Now a person where anything will happen for a life, for ye to see and a thing will go pull it down, it go be at the end of your life, it go be at the end of everything we don't ever work on. A smart person, even if you take away everything from them, from which they don't build them, they go build 10, 20 times, 30 times, 100 times more than which they ever do. Which you don't do them in the past, it be very small compared to the big things them who will do them in the future. Which you don't achieve them in the past, it be very small compared to the giant things them who will do them and achieve them in the future. The battles we don't fight in the past, they be small compared to the big, heavy, successful battles where they are there ahead of we. The road ahead, it be smoother than the rough patches we don't pass. The biggest challenges were liberation, the day behind us. The future be a little bit smooth and soft in front of us because we'll be very close. Because of all the experiences we would already gather them and our successes on the ground, it'd be easier for we for finish the road, the journey ahead for complete the liberation struggle. So, when I stay fine, when I take care of ourselves, make una know say any person where they speak against una forces, they speak against Ambazonia, they speak against una leadership, we don't give una pride for this 21st century. Now the people the way they don't the things they don't support and they don't fail, and now they rather make the liberation fail than make Ambazonians succeed. Alright? But so far shake, day. Alright? I called all una cafe and I want to thank all una for una understanding. I want to thank all una for una patience. I want to thank all una for una focus. We'll be a smart people. We'll be a determined people. We'll be a courageous people. We'll stand up for one path, one objective, one goal. there is nothing we feel move we from the path for actualize the independence of Ambazonia, for reclaim our sovereignty, and for make sure say our people they get a free homeland we will give them a life will be worth living, a life full of dignity. All right? May God bless all now. Una take care. May God bless all now. Una get a blessed Wednesday. Love all now.